It is a rough day for Justin Bieber. Miami Beach police arresting the 19-year-old pop star early this morning for driving under the influence and resisting arrest. So what does this latest run-in mean for the Bieber brand? WSJ News editor Lee Hawkins is here to tell us more. Hi, Lee.
Hi, how are you?
All right, so man, this is not a great way to wrap up your week. What does this mean for the Bieber brand? Does this hurt him at all?
I think it potentially could, but really when you think about it, it's going to all come down to how he handles the situation. He's done all the right things so far. He's hired a really high-profile lawyer. In his initial court hearing, he wasn't smiling like he was in the mugshot. You never smile, especially for getting a DUI. So he has the potential of being damaged by this, but I think entertainers, as long as they continue to entertain well, they're somewhat shielded from that.
Well, and we have seen other stars go through this before. I mean, how have fans reacted in the past?
Well, Vince Neil of Motley Crue, the lead singer, was involved in an accident where he actually killed a guy, or a man actually died in that process. But Robert Downey Jr., Paris Hilton, all kinds of people have had these issues, and it has always come down to the way they handle the public, the crisis management. Are they transparent? Do they take responsibility for what they've done, or do they try to just shoo it off? And so there's some success stories in there.
And one of the things, I mean, when you're talking about someone like Justin Bieber, who is really young, these people are basically growing up in front of the cameras. And you spoke to Justin Bieber's mom about this last year. Let's take a look at what she had to say about that.
When you're in the position of being a celebrity, you don't think of yourself necessarily as a celebrity. You're just doing life, and you just have different people around you in a different set of circumstances. And so growing up in that, you're going to still want to experience all the same things everyone else does. And so I think that you're making all your mistakes and you're doing everything, but the media is there to catch it all. You know, where when I was growing up, I made a lot of mistakes, but there was nobody there to catch it on camera and for the whole world to judge me for it.
I think the real problem with that is that Patty, his mother, raised him to think that he wasn't a celebrity because she wanted him to be grounded. And I think she was effective all the way up until about 16 when he started to realize how much money he had. And he went and engaged in a lot of the creature comforts that young multimillionaires engage in. And you can't really stop it at that point. And so he's going to have to get that out of his system, and I hope that he doesn't hurt someone or hurt himself in the process.
And how much of this, I mean, obviously you should never be driving drunk. You should certainly be never drag racing drunk. How much of this kind of like rebellious stuff, though, is just like a teenage boy growing up?
I think you see it a lot with a lot of young people, but there is that extra burden of responsibility. There's a lot of scrutiny. Justin Bieber resents it to some extent, and he's acting out. But, you know, his blood alcohol content was 0.04. Okay, in a lot of states it's 0.08, but since he's under 21, that is a serious offense. So his lawyers may be able to finagle him out of this, but the question now is, will he change his behavior then? And his mother went through some of these issues herself. She was involved with alcoholism and things, so maybe she'll be a positive influence on him, but it's really going to be up to him and his team and how they handle the crisis management.
What are the things it seems like we do see from fans, though? Is it kind of like to be able to see the real celebrity, you know, scars and all, like kind of the darker side of them? Do you think this could actually kind of build his fan base even more?
I think it could. I think it could with the teenagers, because a lot of them are starting to give up on him because they feel like they're outgrowing him. But the fact is that if they were able to see a reflection of themselves and the struggles that they deal with, maybe they will. It's all going to come down to the quality of his music. If you look at Chris Brown, for example, this is a guy who was involved in domestic abuse, but he's exciting as a performer. He's not a great interviewer. He doesn't conduct himself very well. He fights a lot, but he's an exciting performer. Anybody who's winning on the field or the court and performing on stage is somewhat insulated from a lot of that public flack if they're good.
All right, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Hey, I'm a journalist, not a priest, so I'm just going to tell you.
Well, there you go. All right, we'll see what happens next in the Bieber story. Lee Hawkins, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Sarah.